Hello, good afternoon. I am
Hello.
thrilled. We've had such a blast today with all the talent in the hub and the business director of all these authors. I've just been having a real laugh today, and now I'm finishing off with the lovely Wafaa Powell from Dancing Flavours. And this arrived today in the post. So this is the Dancing Flavours little cookbook I've got there, which has got some amazing recipes. So I can't wait to hear more. So welcome, Wafaa. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you for your welcome. How are you today? You're all right?
Yes, I'm really good. It's been so exciting to talking because we've had books about meditation. We've had books about depression. We've had books about Nurse Ted, which is for children. So we've had also motorbikes. I mean, I was a bit lost with the motorbikes, to be honest with you. So I am thrilled to go back to a subject that I love because I love cooking. I love learning about cooking. I'm not very good at following recipes. So you might sort of have to just enhance me a little bit and tell me a little about the book. So go on.
Can I tell you a secret first?
Yes,
I can't
please.
follow recipes either. I struggle to follow my own, believe it or not. But put that on this. Put that on the side. What
Yeah,
can
we'll
I
put
tell
that on
you?
the side. But
Yeah,
it
put
doesn't
that on the
matter,
side.
does it? If you add a few extra herbs, so you add a little bit of everything, it's all about the fun, isn't it? And that's really what I think you really promote in your cooking. So tell us a little bit about the book and how the book came about.
Well, I was challenged a few years ago to bring a product to the market. I was talking about the syrup I make or the baba ghanoush because there is hummus a lot in the market and baba ghanoush, which is another dip. And I was challenged to bring that to the market. And when I looked at the complication of bottling and putting things in things, I thought it's too complicated. So I thought, you know what, maybe making a book is easier. It wasn't, but I did it. So that was actually how all happened about why the book it was born. But then, of course, as I worked on the recipes, which I cook normally in my everyday life, and that's what I grew up eating, it just opened so many other thoughts about food. And I think it all reminded me about the love of food and about food as a creative activity and about, in a way, my focus is on bringing the joy of food, taking the guilt away, the simplicity of it. I don't believe in too complicated recipes. And I like, with few ingredients you have around in the market or in the season, how we can cook, have nice, tasty food. I like strong taste, so I want to taste that, and I think that's something God encouraged me to get my recipes also out.
Yeah, and I think that because we've joined you for a cooking class, cooking baklava, which I absolutely loved. It was for Valentine's. And what I really loved about it was that you make it special. You told us a little bit about the history of what it came from. And, and I didn't expect that. That was just an added bonus. And we had so much fun. We had people from Glasgow, from London, from Wales, from everywhere. It was fantastic. So I want to talk a little bit about the classes that you do at the moment and the online cooking and the importance, I think, at the moment to stay sociable whilst we're, still physically distant. So tell us a little bit about the classes that you offer.
You see, there is when it comes to cooking in general, to me, cooking is a culture. So it is important for me to stick to a particular. If you read my last blog, I was having a rant about people messing around with the recipes. But that beside of the cooking is an activity to share. I believe in the power of sharing food, of cooking together, and of eating together. It's very important. And I think our modern days when we're rushing around doing just whatever, and food became not as important. We lost that touch. And, there is an old saying, if you eat together, you stay together. And that's at the heart of my thinking and how I see food. Now, when it comes to my classes, I like to bring those elements in it. I like to bring the sharing element because everyone exchanges tips. I like to bring the history if I know of it, as much as I know of it. I like to bring stories of what I know when there is a story, because food is not just ingredients we eat. I know we all have to eat to live, but there is far beyond value in the food we eat. It's a culture, it's power, it's pleasure, it's just something to nourish our souls as much as to nourish our body. And I like to promote that more, and particularly the sharing. So in my regular classes, the one I'm doing monthly, there is 20th of March, the next one coming, and the previous one, we all finish cooking and we sit and we stay online and we eat. We all lost contact with people we used to go out to eat with, or we used to visit. And lots of people told me that how much they appreciated it. And it was very heartwarming for me to know how the variety of people who took part. So I had people on their own. I had families with little children. I had families with teenagers. I had couples. And it's for everyone. It's just bringing this connection with everyone else, especially when we are so restricted in meeting with people.
And I think that is something that's so joyful and so special, because I think we're all missing that. Because, when you go out to a restaurant or something, you sit, maybe you just go out as a couple, but you will have the interactions with the other people perhaps before and afterwards. And, it's that whole sort of community of people that you meet. And I think it's just lovely to be able to do it online, because it can bring people from Australia to Sweden to wherever in the world. And you often have that, don't you? Families who live abroad who come and join you.
Well, one of the stories I tell always, and it just fills my heart with joy. I had a family where it was from a member in Somerset, a member, the family, the mum was on her own in London, the sister was in France with her family, and the brother was in the US, and they all joined online and cooked together. So it was their family meal. And things like this, I get so I don't get speechless too often, but that was...
But it does fill you with joy. And I'm a great believer that food should be all about joy. I've grown up sort of, my mother worked shifts, but eating together when we could was very, very important. And it's something that Jamie and I love. We love having that meal together at the end of the day and just having a chat about different things. So it's all about that connection. So tell me a little bit about how Lebanese cooking is different from, and what flavors that you bring into the food.
Well, I always, the way I explain it is Lebanese food relate to Lebanon's position in the world, the geography of it. It's sort of a combination between Middle Eastern and Mediterranean. So it combines both, and by doing so, it sort of makes it quite very versatile. I can honestly say, I think we are the most, or the Lebanese food or cuisine is the most versatile in the world. So you have the depth, the earthiness of the Middle East, you have the freshness of the Mediterranean. As flavors go, one thing I think people they get sometimes have the wrong idea. Lebanese food is not hot, so there is no chili in every dish, which annoys me when I see it somewhere else. Also, that's another thing I need to write a blog about. So it's what you see or what you taste is the garlic, is the lemon juice. Oh, I'm very well known for lemon juice. I'll tell you, everybody knows I use lots of lemon juice. So all those fresh flavors, the herbs, they're a big part of our cooking. But we also cook with rice, we cook with bulgur wheat, meat, vegetarian. We certainly have a very wide variety way of cooking vegan and vegetarian dishes. At the meantime, keeping them tasty and healthy.
And vegan, because I think when you're vegan or making vegetarian dishes, you need to really have the sort of flavors from the spices and lemon juice and things like that to bring out the flavor of the vegetables, which is so important. I love the recipes that I've seen in the book, because it's I'm holding upside down. Because it's all about the freshness of tomatoes, the lemon coming through, parsley, and like you said, I'm not a huge fan of spicy food. I can eat it, but it's not. And that's where the Lebanese cooking, I think, is probably a little bit different. So we're going to join you for one of your classes to make lamb kofta, because I never made that. And I'm really, really excited about trying that. So you run a class almost every month, don't you?
I have my regular one every month, but like Christmas, before and after Christmas, I've done the baklava. That was an extra one. I've got one on the 7th or 29th of March, which is related to Easter, to make the biscuits we make for Easter. So that is just a one-off because it relates to the season. But my regular cook-alongs are once a month, is a Saturday evening. But also I've been doing more of private. So people, like families, can't meet up, so they want their own meeting. And with this one, when we finish cooking, I just leave them to cook. When they all had the food and they tasted it and they're happy, I just leave the screen and I leave them to eat together. So that's been happening more. I had lots of families booking this, but also lately I had 2 teams who also want to do that. They didn't do their Christmas get together, so they're doing it now, also cooking with me. So, how it happens, how it works. I've got my regular ones once a month, but then I've got time for people to do their own private one if they want to do so.
Which is lovely, because if you're booking a private one, you can take part and have a little bit of fun. If you haven't seen each other for a while, you get that interaction. But then you can then sit down and have your private chat and everything afterwards, which is a really lovely way to spend an evening, I think, especially at times like this.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to cooking some more recipes. So what's coming up in the spring feast? What are you cooking on the 20th of March?
Well, I'm doing a fish dish with fish with tahini, which is very, very nice. And it's one of the dishes we do when we really have very important guests or you want to treat. It's quite, I wouldn't say complicated, but certainly another way of eating fish. But what is bring me back to my blog, tabbouleh. It's one of the things I think most people heard of tabbouleh, but how they mess around with it is absolutely beyond me. So I'm teaching.
If you haven't read the blog, I will be sharing it later on Sina Bams the Hub, because you've got to read it. It's fabulous. So carry on, Wafaa.
The tabbouleh, which is very, it's a spring. It is spring dish, but it's a dish that brings spring to your table any time of the year. That's how I see it. It's flavorsome, it's fresh, it's colorful. And in the blog, I say how we eat it and where we eat it, and all those things. So I'm doing the tabbouleh, and I'm doing another dish with potato, and that's have a story to it, because that originally a meat dish, and that takes the potato to different level like we never had it before. So I'm confident houses would absolutely smell divine. And then what else? And then the fish dish. So that's on the 20th.
When we did the baklava, the whole house smelt of orange blossom and rose water. It was just gorgeous. And they did freeze really well as well, but we froze a few of them, and Jamie was so upset with me when I'd frozen them. But it was absolutely lovely. So I really, really highly recommend, if you want to have a get together with friends and family, perhaps that you haven't seen for a little while, to absolutely book on and get in touch with Wafaa. So the courses are, pardon?
I just want to say it's Mother's Day coming up soon, and people who can't see their mom, I also had a couple of bookings for that. Not necessarily on Mother's Day, but getting together with their mom. So that's their gift to their mom, is cooking together online, learn something new, and that's hopefully that 20th of March would be convenient for that.
I think everyone is looking for something. We were talking about it yesterday. Everyone is looking for something different to do with mums, because first of all, they usually have everything. So doing something as an experience is something that we love, because it's just doing something that you remember rather than sort of buying things. So buying a little gift of cooking together, I think, is a perfect example. So tell us a little bit, where can they find you? So obviously you're on the Sino Bounce directory, and the course is on the events board, so you can go through there. But where else can they find you, Wafaa? I know that you are very lively.
I am everywhere. I'm on Facebook. I've got Dancing Flavours page on Facebook. You can find me under my name, Wafaa Powell, also, and I post on both. You can find me on Instagram, Dancing Flavours. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm getting more active on LinkedIn. Also, my email, the best way to really reach me is through our website or by email me. Is my name, Wafaa at Dancing Flavours. So the business, I hope, is a catchy name and people would remember it. So anyway, you can sort of put Dancing Flavours in email or on search engine, you will find me.
And I'll put some links on the chat as well. And also you can find the book, which is now available in the community bookshop on Sino Bounce in the library. So there is everywhere is Wafaa, and we love it. And it's so thrilled to finishing off. You're making me really hungry. So I'm gonna have to have a look and see what we can cook up tonight.
I'm trying a recipe for the April one, for the kufta, but not the kufta. The kufta is fixed. There is no, but I'm trying a vegetarian alternative to it. So that is I'm going to do just now.
Oh, you'll have to tell me all about it. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Wafaa, for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to speak to you, and your passion just shines through. So I can't wait to join you again and get a copy of the book, because it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy the vegetarian kofta.
Thank you very much. Keep well.
Bye. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye. Bye.